I like school so much, but nobody to support me.
If these people provide for us good education here, we shall be good in future.
Being a girl doesn't matter for me. That's why I want to be also a star welder now.
It's very important for children who are actually given up in life to bring them back so that they have future.
Education cannot wait and shouldn't wait.
Uganda hosts the largest number of refugees in Africa and is one of the top refugee hosting countries in the world, with over 1.4 million refugees from Southern Sudan, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Burundi, and Somalia. Children make up about 61% of all the refugees in Uganda. These children have the right to education, a right enshrined in the 1948 Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Education protects, enlightens, and empowers.
Education is a means of transformation of a child from very early age to adulthood, so that they become a transformed human being.
The reality on the ground, however, is that the majority of refugee children in Uganda, as well as many of those in the host communities, do not have access to education. Over 350,000 refugee children, as well as 170,000 host community children in refugee hosting districts, are out of school. This is partly due to the fact that there are not enough schools to cater for the large numbers of children, both refugees as well as the Ugandans living within and around the settlements, who are commonly known as host communities. For those children who manage to go to school, many face challenges that make the attainment of education an uphill task.
The primary schools are not enough, even secondary schools in that area. Children are congested in the classrooms. We have inadequate teachers to cater for that high enrollment. And even the sanitation, latrine instances in the schools, the ratio is still high. Most of these children, when they come to school, they most of the time stay hungry the whole day.
On average, a primary school classroom in a refugee settlement seats 154 children, a figure that is 3 times higher than the national standard.
Our largest class this year is P3. We have around 222 children in that class. For a pupil to pass to sit behind, he or she has to climb over the desks.
A number of schools also operate in temporary structures or in the open, exposing children to natural forces such as rain, wind, and dust. The situation in secondary schools is not that different. Only 11% of secondary-age refugee children and 18% of children from the host community are enrolled in secondary school. Mvepi Refugee Settlement, host to refugees from Southern Sudan, covers an area of 35 square kilometers but has only one secondary school.
Enabel Secondary School has a general enrollment of 714 students from senior 1 to senior 4. But in average, we have 450 students attending lessons on a daily basis. Some students come from far distance.
It will take me long in order to reach here, 3 hours. I will wake up at 6, reaching here at 9. While students have entered, you learn now through the window because the spaces are few in the classroom.
The continuous state of war in the refugee countries has made many children drop out of school, some of whom feel too old to join the formal education system. For these, development partners, working in partnership with the government of Uganda, have introduced the Accelerated Education Program, which uses a condensed curriculum to enable such youth cover 2 to 3 years of school learning in 1 year, to enable them be reintegrated in the formal education system or join vocational skills training centers.
There's so many youths from the refugees who are so idle and doing nothing, and yet they could be able to do something for themselves. So our idea is that if we train the youth, they will have employable skills, or they can start their own businesses.
My plan is to open my own workshop, and I make my things in my workshop so that also I earn a lot of money.
We've produced over 270 youth, both of the refugees and the host communities, and most of them have got employment. The challenge is that we have an overwhelming demand for the training, but we don't have enough resources to handle all the youth.
The challenges in providing education to refugee and host community children notwithstanding, the government of Uganda, United Nations agencies and development partners have played a key role in attempting to increase access to education for refugee and host community children.
We have developed the education response plan, costed at United States dollars 390 million, being the total required to implement this plan over the 3.5-year period.
The plan was developed to achieve 3 objectives. 1. Improved equitable access to learning opportunities. 2. Improved delivery of quality education services and training. 3. Strengthened systems for effective delivery.
It is our primary responsibility to ensure that we facilitate access to education for all people in this country. We look at education as an equalizer. It's through education that hope can be restored to people who are otherwise hopeless as a result of the circumstances that they find themselves in.